The final season of Curb Your Enthusiasm has already got off to a really strong start with its premiere, Atlanta. Let's talk about it. Okay, so right off the bat, I like the idea of using this season to continue the events of the previous season. The show has always been good with having continuity, which is always something that I like. But this is the first time where it's like, okay, let's just, not make a story arc be contained to a single season. Let's continue the events from a previous season into the next season. Now, I think that the idea of having Maria Sophia surprisingly turn out to be, a huge success is one that is a funny subversion, but actually sort of makes sense in a way because I was just rewatching some episodes from the previous season, and I don't actually think that the character Maria Sophia is actually a particularly bad at acting per se, but she's bad at getting the tone of certain situations, right? And she tries a little too hard to experiment with things. So the idea that she could surprisingly end up, being good at acting, apparently, at least enough for people to enjoy, kind of makes sense to me. I like the idea of having the episode take place in Georgia. The show's always going to different places as a way to shake things up, Larry, interacting with new people. The episode has a good mixture of doing, what Curb always does, of having these, interaction situations where sometimes Larry is in the right, sometimes the other person's in the right, sometimes Larry might overreact to a situation even though he's a little bit in the right, sometimes the other person might overreact to a certain situation even though they're kind of in the right. I think when it comes to the issue with the housekeeper, Larry was mostly in the right there. I think with the whole Brookie thing, he was kind of wrong. Just, let her be called whatever she wants to be called, even if she's not totally consistent about the rule. I like the whole idea of, towards the end of the episode, Larry and Maria Sophia actually starting to kind of form a bond and a friendship thing, with him venting to her about the South African guy. With the whole joke with him, I'm assuming that they got inspiration for that from Elon Musk, whose name the character actually mentions at one point in the episode, so that's pretty funny. It's the kind of joke that they've done before with things like the lawyer misleading people to think that he was Jewish, or going all the way back to the days of Seinfeld with Donna Chang. But I gotta say, if I'm being honest, now spoilers, I didn't like the ending joke of the episode. And now with this whole thing with Larry getting arrested for giving somebody water who's, waiting for Auntie, Ray in line to vote. I like bringing her back, by the way. She's a fun character. Once again, continuity that's cool. But I don't really like the joke that much. Like I said, I believe it's referencing a real life thing, and that's fine. But the problem I have is that it doesn't really do much to reincorporate events from earlier in the episode, which is what the show always does so well and always creates these really funny endings. Like the show has other good reincorporation jokes, the whole butt dialing thing, with the dog. That was funny, that was clever, that was a good use of reincorporation in a comedic way. But this ending, like, it doesn't really mention anything. Like maybe if they had something earlier that mentioned the law or the whole issue of like, long lines and voting, maybe that could have been a little better. But other than that, really strong episode. I'd give it like an 8 out of 10. Check it out. And I'm looking forward to the rest of the season.